I'm so grateful after what happened this year, and gratitude of what happened this year, and you know, I got empathy, and it's just I love it. You know, I love everything that happened to me, because when I look back at it, you know, I learned, you know, something that I learned from you and others. That I learned to live in the moment and stay in the moment. You know, I learned to continue to think positive and continue to think on the high rise, even though I probably was going through, you know, some tough times. So
stressful time.
You know,
I can see it on your face.
I looked at it like that, like.
This is Entrepreneurs the Playbook, where I give you access each week to the world's greatest athletes and executives about their personal and professional playbook and what has made them champions on and off the field. This is the Playbook.
Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneur the Playbook, the Super Bowl edition of the Playbook. We're revisiting each other.
Yeah.
So this playbook is about fate and faith, and just the fact that we're redoing this. The very first time that we did the playbook, it was so loud. We were at like a Silicon Valley venture event in the back room. The audio was so bad, and I was like, you know what? It happened for a reason.
Right.
The story of your football career and your charitable career is everything happens at the right way at the perfect time, and the lessons that we learned. So I'd like to take us back to when you got out of high school, heavily recruited. You went to a junior college. Mm-hmm. What happened at the junior college?
I kind of, that's when I first started to step over to what my life can be and be better. I wasn't the greatest student in high school, super talented, and had all the tools to be a great student if I applied myself, but for whatever reason, didn't want to apply myself. And that's why I had to take the junior college route.
Because you're 18.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I had to take the junior college route, and I met a professor named Amir Sabzavari, and kind of like changed my perspective on school, and kind of let me know like how much I really do like school and how much I really like learning and growing as a person. And I took that into different classes and figured out how can that impact my life. You know, because everybody tells you you're never gonna take what you take in school to life, but that's not true. That's not true at all. So I kind of took that, and you know, things started to
you ended
roll
up at Cal.
from there. Yeah,
that's no joke.
Yeah,
and you did well at Cal.
I did. Got my degree, and it was just.
But even at Cal, when you first got there, everything didn't happen the way you wanted it to either. On the football field, mainly.
I was ninth on the depth chart. I was super upset because I'm coming in as a junior college transfer, so I only got 2 years to play. And from there, just worked my way up, you know, kept my head down, kept grinding, worked my way up, and then I found my way to get on the field and try to make as much plays as I can.
Well, I know recently, one thing I love about you is you're not afraid to ask for mentorship, and you picked two good mentors in Gary Vee and myself, and when you got released from the Raiders for bureaucracy reasons, you know, they just needed two different guys on the roster, not because you didn't perform, but you immediately called me for mentorship. But when you were at Cal, you immediately called someone for mentorship when things weren't going the way you wanted it to. Didn't you call your coach back?
Yeah, called my coach back, and you know,
and he kicked your butt a little bit.
Made me cry.
Yeah.
I mean, got it. The conversation was really emotional. He just said the way I was living and doing things, I wasn't doing things the right way. You know, I wasn't loving the game of football the right way. I wasn't loving myself the right way. You know, what was some problems, and that's what kind of made me stop drinking and things of that nature. And you know, that conversation was more coach player. It was like father, you know, the father I didn't have to a son, and that made me sit back and think and reflect. And I'm like, you know what? You know, Coach T, right? He's right. And it just, when I sit back and I think about it today, I go, now that I'm doing things that I love to do the correct way, that I feel like it's the right way. It's starting to come back full circle.
Yeah, I call it you're an old soul. You got great wisdom. I see it on the field too, but you give meaning to everything you see. And as I look at from the high school, junior college to, you know, going to the Super Bowl with Denver, and you raise your vibration or your level of awareness as the game gets bigger. And a lot of guys can't do that. In fact, you know, you're with the Panthers, and once again, it's a very political game, and you're with one of the greatest quarterbacks maybe to ever play athletes, Cam Newton, who I'm a big fan of. McCaffrey's a huge athlete as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Stanford, not Cal guy, but but once again, you kind of get edged out a little bit there, and you know the system isn't fit for you, and you're kind of the stepchild in the system. And once again, you have to give meaning to everything you see, and you don't quit. You know, you don't take a negative attitude, and eventually you're released, and you and your boy Marshawn now get to play together with the Raiders, which seems like a really cool way to end your season before you go sign with someone else.
Right. I mean, the whole thing at Carolina was just more as I start seeing that transition over towards Christian and them utilizing Cam more because of his athleticism, it just became more of a mentor. You know, playing with some of the vets I got to play with, the Champ Baileys and Peyton Mannings and DeMarcus Wares and Sean Phillips. And I mean, I played with some really amazing vets and taking that and trying to, you know, pass it off to Cam and Christian and you know, Ryan Cleo, some of those guys that's on that Panthers team. And, you know, I saw myself more as a leader. So even though I wasn't playing, it was a leadership role, you know, which is something I never really had in my career, or I never really had to do because I was playing with Peyton Manning. He was the leader.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, the greatest leader. So it was kind of those things, and you took that, then, you know, that didn't work out. And then I go to Oakland, and, you know, I work hard and I put it in, and then I get a text on Monday like, "Hey man, can you bring your playbook in?" Just a text, and I'm like,
"Welcome to the NFL."
I just got
Welcome
here.
to the NFL.
I was like, "I just got here. You gotta be kidding me!" And, you know, I took everything as a perspective and an opportunity for learn. You know, you don't never lose and you never get down, because if you can learn from your opportunity and grasp what was great out of that opportunity, then it'll definitely help you in the future. And obviously, the greatest thing about that Oakland release is I end up on the Rams out here in LA, and things are working well.
Cost a trip though. We met after you got released. We wanted to start talking about philanthropy and business and have this great talk, but both of us still hadn't really given up. I kind of was self-motivated. You know, underneath everything, I was testing the waters because I wanted to give a little spillover to my San Diego Chargers, LA Chargers. And I'm like, maybe if I can get this thing worked out quickly, you wouldn't have to leave. My son being a huge Chargers fan, and his hero, C.J. Anderson, all in one place. But you really, at that time, right, we were talked about it, how quickly things manifest. And I use different words for manifest. Being in receivership, allowing things to happen, attracting it to yourself, or the woo-woo term manifest. You left in a certain mindset from that night. Both of us were pretty exhausted. Right?
Yeah.
And then we got together, and all of a sudden, we were super inspired.
Yeah, I mean, when you know, I immediately called you, right? I got released from Oakland. I immediately called you. I was in full philanthropy and business mode, but I was like, I needed a friend. You know, that was my third team this season being released. I needed someone that just to talk to and figure out how to orchestrate my life and what I want to do with it. And our conversation was great. And I told you then I didn't want to quit football. I wasn't ready to be done, but I mean, it was week 14, week 15. Right. It was week 15, so we're definitely saying the season is over.
3 days before a game.
Yeah, let's get ready for next season, and that's kind of how we took it. And you know, in that time, you know, everything that I've read and podcasts and took, you know, little clips of yourself and Gary and Keith Crock and just different people in my life, I kind of balled that up and was ready to full flesh push in December. And then obviously that changed.
Yeah, in a day.
Yeah, it changed literally.
In fact, someone pinged me off that you were signed, and I texted you, and you're like, not yet.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I think other teams were calling in. We won't tell anybody who they were, but you signed with the Rams. Once again, trusting, wow, here we are now, and it's Super Bowl week, and you're once again in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You've played exceptionally well. You know, player of the week in the NFL. You were player, you know, of the team, and I think most people on the team, most fans would say, without C.J. Anderson, they're not in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's crazy when you read those things and you hear those things. I'm just so appreciative because the manifest is still happening.
Yeah.
You know, being appreciative and being so given, you know, to a city and to a team and to brothers and coaching staffs and you know, trying to understand, like, you know, this is something that I love to do, but I'm so grateful after what happened this year and gratitude of what happened this year. And you know, I got empathy, and it's just, I love it. You know, I love everything that happened to me, because when I look back at it, you know, I learned, you know, something that I learned from you and others, that I learned to live in the moment and stay in the moment. You know, I learned to continue to think positive and continue to think on the high rise, even though I probably was going through, you know, some tough times.
Yeah,
so
stressful time.
You know,
I can see it on your face.
I looked at it like that, like.
And I remember telling you,
it worked out.
Put faith in what you have, what you don't. Because a lot of people in that position, including Cam, you know, had some negative things happen to him, and he started putting faith in the wrong things, right? And you put faith in all the right things, the skills, the knowledge, and desire, allowing you in a very short amount of time to run 167 yards. And here's the interesting thing, I think, is as you've allowed this whole thing to transpire, not only are you a major running back in the game, but you're a leader. But you know, the Rams need you not just because you and Todd are complimentary of each other in case something happens to Todd, because I personally don't say anything for NFL, but I personally don't think Todd Gurley is 100%, but don't say anything. It's just watching football my whole life. But regardless, they need you on the field. But even more importantly, as you look at how many guys have been in a Super Bowl on your team, they need you off the field.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the experience that I had, you know, playing, this would be my third Super Bowl, you know, played in 4, you know, AFC championships. Well, now 3 AFC championships, 1 NFC championship, right? But playing championship Sundays, I just think when they signed me, they signed a player who they felt like can still play and still contribute.
Well, and also learn the playbook in 3 days.
And learn the playbook really fast.
Yeah.
But I think when they got me, the leadership and the qualities of what I bring, you know, that I learned from other people, I think that's the bonus that they saw and they got. And, you know, it's just taking I mean, the Rams are a young team. I mean, they're really young. I might be the only, out of players and coaches, I might be the only person in their locker room, in that building, who's been to multiple Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So, you know, taking that and embracing it and trying to give it to my teammates, so, you know, that was a good thing.
It was nice for me because I've obviously for years and years been around this game and been around big games and big players.
Yeah.
And what was nice for me, there's 3 things that really meant a lot to me. Was you were nice enough to allow me to sit with your family, you know, at the game.
The Cowboy game.
And when you scored, you know, your mom was crying.
Yeah, that's somebody told me that.
And Miles was, you know, he was right in front of your grandma and mom, and he looks back and he starts tearing up, and he looks over and he goes, "Daddy, look how proud they are." And like, to me, I got choked up because I'm like, that's what, you know, I wish you could have seen. And you know, you're in the tunnel walking by and you have your towel on at halftime, right? And like everybody else knows me, they're all waving, and I'm like a little fan going, "Hey, hey!" And you're just totally focused, and everybody else is waving to me from the team. But the other thing I thought was really interesting was Gurley, because I knew you were in a good place when I saw him interviewed after the last game, the NFC Championship game. When he said, they asked, you know, about not playing as much as you, and he said, well, because I wasn't playing as well as CJ. Like, that respect, I could see that you were in there as a leader, and that he knew that you were on the same path as he was, and that gladly you would give him 4 touchdowns to win a Super Bowl come this Sunday.
He can have it. I mean, I think,
and vice versa, I think, which I really like Todd Gurley for.
Yeah, I think we respect each other's games. I mean,
and they're different.
You know, we play the same position. You know, we've done it for a long time. We respect each other's games. You know, I got nothing but the utmost respect for him. I mean, that 24-year-old and some of the things he accomplished is just amazing. And his game is at the highest peak of what it can be. And just back to my mom, like, my mom, she told me, like, you know, because I didn't get a chance to see her after the game, or you.
Yeah.
All y'all had to leave. Yeah, everybody had to leave.
It's LA traffic, man. Don't take it personally. I live in Orange County.
But my mom, she just went back to everything we've been through. You know, when I talked to her on the phone that night, back to what we've been through. And I tell her, and I've told other people that, like, that's kind of how I play. You know, we've been through so much as a family. You know, and growing up with no pops, you know, no dad, no father figure in my life, but so many different mentors, so many, even yourself, so many different father figures. You know, when I look back at my mom and my grandma, the 2 strongest women I know, and to see that enjoyment, because they're so happy that I'm happy, it means a lot. And to see them happy and for them to go, we've been through so much, and I'm proud of my son. You know, I'm proud of my sons, but I'm proud of my son, you know, that one right there. Lets me know that everything that they taught me, I'm doing it the correct way, and then I'm still taking those teachings and trying to pass them out and do them the right way. So You know, those feel good. You know, I love my mom and my grandma to death.
Yeah, I love football because, you know, when you look at you on the football field, even right here, right? Good athletic build.
Yeah.
But, you know, I watch you run and I go, there's so much more to football. There's football intelligence, there's heart, and then there's also what I call a third eye, especially with running backs. You're feeling the game differently than you did when you played with the Broncos, which was like the last big game I saw you in. So, you know, what's the difference? Like, I mean, obviously you're really quick, even though you're bigger. You're really quick, man. But you're seeing things like, I'm like, how do you get through there? And you must be seeing things.
I just think the experience that I've had, played so many games, and I think the game is slowing down. I think I'm starting to understand what's going on and what's needed in the whole aspect. Like when I was in Denver, it was more my job and then what's going on with the O-line up front. I think now I'm getting the big picture, which, you know, I try to tell people, like, when I got my opportunity in Carolina, I was still averaging 4 yards a carry. So I was still seeing some of the same things. It's just I didn't get as many opportunities as I got over here. So, you know, I'm just taking advantage of those opportunities, but I'm seeing the big picture and I'm seeing the game different, and hopefully I can continue to rise in my career.
So entrepreneurial-wise, you know, we're going to do a lot off season.
Yeah,
but
can't wait.
You're going to have an extended career. I'm hoping you go till 34 years old. We'll see. You're a fool if you don't sign this guy till he's 34. But anyway, but off the field, it's funny because, you know, I coach a lot of guys, and there always is a puzzle analogy. They're like, you know, this piece doesn't seem to fit, Dave. And I'm like, because you're just looking at one piece of a 1,000-piece puzzle.
Amen.
I said, you talked about the big picture. I always tell people, look at the picture on the box, meaning see the big picture. So let me tell you one of the things that I've learned that may help you even this week is assumptions. So as you're looking at the game and as you're looking at when you're holding your next ring,
right.
You let me wear it and take a picture.
I got you.
All right, good.
Just like I did the first one.
First one, right? but after that, we're going to say this now. What assumptions are we making? It's more than just the decisions, right? It's what assumptions are those decisions based after. And you're starting to be a deeper thinker on the field and off. And what I'd like to see is using those same skills to start. We were having this conversation when you thought the season was over, right? We were starting going to big picture, like, you know, when do I grow? How do I scale a business? When do I take money? Should I be using my own money?
Yes.
Should I sit on boards? These are big picture assumption questions where you and I both know a lot of athletes that try to transition out. They're doing business like they're playing the game at a surface level, probably when you were young.
Yes.
Okay, I hit the hole. There's one thing also that you picked up that I see, and Le'Veon Bell does it really well. There's a new timing. Like everyone's in a big hurry to hit the hole sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Nah,
but
can't be.
You have like a timing
like,
to it. Right. And you see that in a more mature athlete, but you also see it in a mature business person.
Yeah.
Right? I see it in myself that I used to bust through the hole in business and then be like, why'd I get tackled? Instead, right, I take that, okay, now it's time, and then be ready to hit the hole when it opens.
I think everything is timing and opportunity. And, you know, it's funny, like I'm talking to Cliff, who you know very well. We're talking about Life of Us and what we got planned in the foundation. And everything didn't push back. Like we're on full force still for everything, summer programs and a couple companies we're working for and we're helping with consulting. We're on full flesh, but there's a lot of companies who want to talk to me personally, and I'm busy.
That's Gary Vee's problem too, and my problem, right? You can't do everything.
Can't do everything. You know, they don't want to talk to your colleagues. They want to speak to you, which is understandable. But you know, I was talking to Cliff, and Cliff was telling me, man, CJ, it's just not the right time to talk to them right now. Like when I was supposed to talk to them when I thought it was over, I thought that was the right time. Obviously, that was not. So now, you know, the time in it may be February 5th, February 8th. Well after.
I love it. He says well after. It's like a day after February 5th. Take a week off.
Well after we play in the Super Bowl. So it's just pretty amazing, you know, that Cliff can explain that to me. I mean, I'm sure you got people who are close to you that can talk to you. Because at the end of the day, Cliff works for me, but he is my older brother. Yeah. And when I talk to him big bro, little bro. And he still lets me know, hey, little bro, this is what needs to be done, or this is how I'm seeing it. And when I hear it from him, I go, you know, that makes sense. So he say, man, we don't need to rush it. We don't need to push it. It's going to come at the right time.
Yeah, hit the hole when it's ready.
Yeah, you got to hit it when it's ready. And, you know, I take that now and I go, you're right, man. You're right. It's crazy.
And I'm just so blessed to be part of this whole, not the playing stuff, because I'm glad that those years are past for me.
Yeah.
But the life and business side of it, I just know you're one of my little brothers or nephews or whatever else, wherever I fall in the age group. But my last question is, we sat down right after the Raiders released you, and now here we are both going to the Super Bowl. You leave today. I'll go Tuesday after Joe Osteen and get really inspired. Get him
Joel,
praying for you too.
Man,
I got Joel going to pray and get his whole congregation so we get a big collective belief. What's the one lesson that you've taken now? Because I always like the miracles of the lessons. What's the one thing that you're drawing from since we sat down and now you're in the Super Bowl? Is there one lesson that you could share with people to say, hey, this is what I've learned?
The biggest thing from that time when we had our conversation to leading up to everything that happened today is positive energy is real. And I stayed positive. I stayed upbeat. I stayed pushing forward. I stayed with a smile on my face. It's kind of like what I told you last time.
Your ego takes a hit, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's humbling. It's really humbling. It's like the last time we talked, remember I told you I got released from the Raiders, but I still did a toy drive that Saturday. Before I came to you, I still did a toy drive that Saturday. We gave over 400 toys to unprivileged kids from my foundation who might not have had a toy for Christmas. And taking those, and I loved it. Oh, it was a great turnout. I got the video on my email last week, so I can't wait to share it to everybody. Yeah. But it's just the way it went. We were so positive and so in the moment and so ready for all the good things that I have or I have going. I didn't worry about the hardships and the negatives that was going on. So
put faith in what you have, and you'll get more of what you have. You
Amen.
Put faith in what you don't have.
Oh, you're gonna get more of what you don't have.
And it's interesting. One of my favorite things about Russell Wilson that most people don't know is when he lost the Super Bowl and he took accountability for that throw. And a lot of people took accountability, but he took accountability for making a mistake. On the Tuesday after the Super Bowl, he was in the hospital in Seattle like every other Tuesday, helping the kids.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
right. Putting faith in what he had.
And that's the bigger picture. That's more important. Like people go, man, CJ released from 3 teams this year, which is fine, but the most important thing was me still being CJ Anderson. That's CJ Anderson to the community. That's still being a CEO and the boss man to all my employees. That's still being a mentee. That's still being the best son I can
grandson,
be.
Brother,
grandson,
community
brother.
member, philanthropist.
It's still being that's the bigger picture than just.
All right, my last piece of advice for you, and then we're gonna shut down the Super Bowl version of the playbook. I always tell you, put faith in what you do have. So bring that Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
And I want you to give it a minimum of 5 minutes a day. It doesn't all have to be together. All I want you to do is look at it and put faith in that. You believe in the power of intention. I believe in vision boards and all kinds of. You have something right there that carries not only the visualization but the energy.
Yeah.
And just focusing on it. Can be 5 1-minute periods. A minimum of 5 minutes a day. Don't miss a day because you get the zero effect.
Right.
But trust me, the best piece of advice I can give is just look at that ring, see yourself in the second one, and you and I will be celebrating on February 5th.
Can't wait.
And then going to business to help people.
Yeah, we'll be
make money, help people have fun.
Help people make money, have fun.
My favorite running back, my brother, nephew. There he is, CJ Anderson. This is Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneurs, the Playbook.